This is RICKY, the Android guy. Hey guys, so I'm here again with my friends. Guys, introduce yourself. Kobe.
Colby Hollabaugh. I'm actually a Cincinnati OG.
That's it.
I'm BECCA from Tampa Bay.
All right, and so we're here on Android Talk. That's the name in progress that we kind of named these hangouts that we'll be doing. And just talking about the Motorola Razrs and the Kindle Fires recap. So we're going to go over a couple of these things and talk about them. All right, so first off, with the Razrs, let's kind of go into the history. Kobe, if you would kind of speak on what Motorola was trying to do with these three new phones.
All right, first off, I'd like to touch on the Motorola Razr name. A lot of people out there will hate on the Razr name, and that's completely unjust. The Razr device, as Motorola mentioned at the launch, sold over 130 million handsets worldwide. That's absurd. So the Razr name definitely deserved its continued branding, and they're keeping true to it with some of the thinnest phones out there. But to really start off is Motorola actually put forward what they called their three big bets. The first one being speed in 4G LTE. They went on to talk about how they've been innovators in 4G LTE for the last decade. However, they did go and say the most important thing, which is faster is better, and that the speed difference between 3G to true 4G LTE is magical. So I really appreciate them focusing on that key point that everyone wants. No more messing around about it. The networks are getting where they need to be. The phone manufacturers need to help us get there a little bit better. So Motorola is definitely someone who can help improve radio qualities, things like that. Carrying on, power management. That's what everyone cares about. Motorola finally said it. Everyone else, other than HTC's CEO, have completely danced around the fact that phones run off batteries and that it's unimportant to consumers. HTC said it was unimportant, whereas Motorola finally said, like, we get why the Razr Max was one of the best-selling phones we've ever had. And that's because it had a great battery, great simple performance. Amazing that they acknowledged that they needed better power management. And then, of course, the last one on their three big bet is Android, which they did mention they were the first OEM to go all in on Android in 2009, with, of course, the OG Droid that we all love so much. And then, of course, they mentioned Android First, which are multitasking, voice search, notifications, and turn-by-turn directions. Now, the big change that I will let you all know is that adding stock Chrome as the browser. No more crazy Android browser and you needing 4.0 to download the new one. Just Chrome is what we have from now on. Amazing. It was the best news I've ever heard. I clapped sitting at home in my living room. That's how exciting that was for me. And Ricky, don't you have a YouTube video on how to install Flash on your Chrome?
Yes, so if you guys get the new Jelly Bean devices or are just buying a new Android device, I do have a video on how to install Adobe Flash on your new devices, so make sure to check that out. It's full step-by-step, so check it out. And so yeah, so upon that, or Kobe, did you have anything else on the history about it, or?
Nope, that was a brief touch on it. I also, you know what I do want to mention? The Morty Cooper was there, the guy who first made a cell phone call. I thought that was cool that Motorola brought that out. But like, we also did technically invent the cell phone. That's whatever you guys want to make of it. Pretty much they threw it out there for everyone, and they're like, just keep that in mind when you buy a Motorola product. We kind of invented it all.
Exactly, and kind of a message I would say to Apple in terms of if you want patents, we have all of the cell phone patents. So yeah, let's start talking about three different phones. Starting off with this one, which is called the Razr M. Becca, can you talk about this one?
The Razr M. It's actually, we were talking about this earlier. There's not really any Android phones that are awesome that came out recently that are smaller. Well, Motorola realized that, and that's why they brought out the M. It's actually 4.3-inch screen. It's edge-to-edge display. It has that Cavalier back, a VGA front-facing camera. It's actually really convenient for, everyone's complaining about how the phones these days are way too big. It's lighter than the 4S. So to me, honestly, I feel like it really looks like the iPhone because it has like the curved edges. I don't know if you guys can see that in the picture, but it does have the curved edges, but it's actually still a very powerful device for being really small. The reason why it's powerful is because it has 2,000 milliamps battery, which is incredible. It's only 100 less than the S3, but it's a lot smaller device, so the battery life on that's going to be ridiculous. And it has the 1.5 dual-core gigahertz processor, which is the same as your S3 pretty much. So pretty much the best part of it, though, I think everyone has to agree, is the price point. It's only 99 bucks comparing to phones that are coming out now, like the Razer Max, which is at $299, or well, the old one. I'm not sure what the new one price that will be at. But making it very, very easy for consumers to buy with cheaper price point, and it still being a really incredible device.
Absolutely. And to touch on that, just what Becca was saying, if we look at the size comparison between the Razer M and the iPhone 4S, like she was saying, it is going to be thinner, and it's relatively almost the same size. So that's really impressive. Motorola is really the first company to issue this and issue that, there have been no great phones out around that kind of size. And it is, of course, lighter in comparison and thinner than almost every phone out there. So these are a couple of specs as I talk about the Razer HD, which is the one all the way far to the left. Now, we don't know the price on either of these next two phones. The Razer M, as Becca said, it's going to be $99, and it's coming out next week already. The other two phones are supposed to be due before the holiday season. But for the Razer HD, you do have a thinner phone compared to the Galaxy S3. Now, I will show you guys a picture because it does curve up, and Motorola always, and you always go measure by the thinnest part. So, like, on the bottom part, it's going to be thinner than the S3, and the top part will be a little bit thicker, but relatively around the same size. And it does still have that S4 processor, which is really amazing. It's faster than most quad cores out there right now. You have 16 gigs built in, and you have an amazing battery. One thing I've been waiting on my S3 has been the extended battery from Samsung themselves, so it stays streamlined, and that was the size battery that I was looking for, is the 2530 milliamp battery. I think that would be really good, and to show you guys some pictures on it. That was the Razer M, and this is the Razer HD. So really nice. One thing I like is that it does have the separate micro HDMI, so you don't have to buy an adapter for the MHL adapter, and it's pretty nice. And again, has that Kevlar backing and really nice big speaker. It looks like too, so I think that's pretty cool. And that was a little hump. I don't know if you guys can see this that clear, but basically it has like a little hump right here that'll make that it kind of goes a little bit bigger at the top. And now the Razer HD Max, the biggest battery phone. Kobe, you want to take that one?
Yeah, it's easy. It is exactly the same as the Razer HD, just like the Razer was before it. The Razer Max is just the 3300 milliamp battery phone. Should be, I believe they said 21 hours of talk time compared to the 16 hours on the Razer HD. So the Razer Max HD will just be for those of us who don't ever want to have to charge our phone again, getting those crazy 2 days of battery and stuff. And however, I will use my extra time I have here to comment on how gorgeous the Kevlar back is on the Razer phones now. That looks great. I think it's awesome. I'm not sure what you guys think. Becca, you'll probably have more taste than me and Ricky. What do you think about it?
I think it does look a lot better. I like how it goes all the way around. With the Razers now, it doesn't go all the way around.
It's just like a weird square on the back. Yeah. I was like, wow, that's nothing. Yeah, this is cool.
So when you're casing it, if you were to do any kind of sticker encasing, like business shield or anything, it's really hard because of that weird square. But now it goes all the way around. I think it looks really cool. I don't personally, I already told you guys, I don't really like the way the M looks that much. I think it looks kind of cheesy. But that's you guys, that's my personal preference.
Oh, the M reminds me of Batman, and the Kevlar back makes me look like after I'm done checking my email or playing a game, I can get in and street race a bunch of kids down at the corner.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, I remember when I was talking to some other Motorola guys, I told them, I was like, oh, the easy pitch for your phone is well, is your phone bulletproof? because mine is.
Well, I actually seen the M in person because my friend's a Motorola rep, and
Oh.
maybe it's a little different that because of that.
Oh, got it, got it. Well, that's some, inside information there. There you go. Yeah, so those are the highlights on it. The only last thing I want to talk about is on Motorola's new interface. I caught something on one of the videos that was kind of cool, which is when you put the screen all the way to the left on the new Motorola devices, it actually takes you to a quick settings. Which I found kind of interesting because, one thing we're always doing is turning on and off GPS, mobile data, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, all of that fun stuff. And now it makes it really easy. And it also only comes with one home screen. I know, Kobe, you had mentioned this, that you liked it, that it comes with one home screen, then you can add on from there. It doesn't come with all of the home screens at once.
I don't need a manufacturer to put the Facebook app on like 5 different home screens for me. I'm sure we can all figure it out by this point.
Are you sure? I mean, it's nice having all of those.
I enjoy being able to scroll over on one page and find a home screen devoted pretty much to Facebook and Twitter, and then going the opposite way, I find a home screen that's basically devoted to like Yahoo email. I'm like, oh wow, how convenient for me.
I actually like that quick settings thing because I'm like, you guys are saying like, we are always turning off GPS and stuff. I'm actually really, really bad at that. I always forget. I'm always like, because I have to actually go into my phone. I don't have the toggles. So it being on the next page over, and it's actually really convenient because I can just scroll my hand over the next page. With me now, I might add a widget, onto my home screen, and I'll accidentally click it, delete it, like it happens all the time. So it's kind of cool that it's installed there.
And that widget's kind of ugly, except for Motorola's MotoBlur has some cool ones you can play with. But the overall stock Android widget for power management is pretty hideous. I mean, it's just like real basic. You have to like leave it lay somewhere. It just feels out of place now. I feel like they could have maybe gussied it up a little.
I really like the smart actions. I know we didn't really say anything to go over that, but I really, really, really like smart actions.
I think they're a really good concept. At the moment, I'm still in favor of NFC tags more than smart actions. Well, the only reason, so smart actions are better because they're like you don't even have to think about it. That's the really nice part. The only thing I'm always iffy about them is that they, you need GPS on the entire time. You cannot have GPS off, or else smart actions don't work.
That's when the battery's low and then the GPS goes off.
Yeah. So
I like how it asked you. Like, it asked you, do you want to do the smart action? And then you can allow or,
Yeah. And it's really good if, like, you have to have preset settings, like when you get to work, it has to be on silent or vibrate. When you get home, you want the Wi-Fi on and the data usually off because you don't need data when you're at home and Wi-Fi. So, yeah, I really like changing things. I use, since I have the S3, I use the tactiles right now with the NFC launcher. But yeah, it's really, I mean, for Motorola, I think they did a good job, and Apple's ripping them off now with the new, they're calling it the Passbook or something like that on their new iOS devices. That's one of the big things in iOS 6, which won't do as well, of course, because they're not made for multitasking like Android is. So it'll be interesting to see how that drains the battery.
Oh, how about the joke that Rick, what's his name, Rick Osterloh? Like what he said when he was having problems getting Chrome to work over the Wi-Fi, and then he referenced Steve Jobs with the iPhone 4 launch. When the iPhone 4 didn't work over Wi-Fi, he's like, well, this is where I'll yell at all of you and tell you to get off the Wi-Fi. I was like, yes, that is what happened. Thank you for saying that.
Yes,
I thought it was hilarious. But there was a lot of people from CNET and Engadget in there, so no one laughed. But I thought it was hilarious.
No, I think the Gizmodo people like threw something.
Yeah.
if anyone's that would be them, definitely. But yeah.